Hello, everyone, to Level Up Live. I'm starting things up here with me, aka Mafi. I've got Bag to my right. Say hello.
Hello, hello.
We got a silly little fiend under me named Paz.
I don't know what you're talking about. I ain't no fiend. Hello.
And we've got the beloved Murph.
Hi. Hello, hello.
And with anything involving Murph, you always know we're going to be talking BTS. But it's not going to be the BTS that you guys are well aware of. You know? Like the beloved Korean, I think they're like a small band. I don't know.
Yeah, just very indie, never,
Very underground,
yeah,
honestly.
yeah, they're on the rise.
But instead, we're going to be peering behind the curtain, behind it all, with the crew, behind the scenes. So, I guess, like, to get started, to really, to really get the train moving, how do you guys start off your pre-stream like rituals, like all that kind of prep stuff? Murph, let's hear the expert on it. How do you grow boss?
Wow, what an intro. Just right into it. No, there's a lot that I kind of go through pre-stream. I'm definitely like a checklist kind of person before I even start going. That's something that I have been doing since I started streaming, and if I don't do it now after like 2 years, I will forget something, or I'll feel unprepared, or I'll feel like I'm missing something. So that's a big way that I kind of set up what I'm going to do for stream, get an idea, especially because I often have my partner with me, so I kind of have to plan for both of us. It's not always just what I want to play or what I want to do, so revolving a little bit around that too. And I do a lot of like social media planning before I stream as well.
Like the classic, what's it called? Get something downloaded real quick off Canva or something.
Yeah, I make a few things on Canva. Usually, like I'll make separate graphics for like Twitter, as well as I'll make one for Twitch stories and one for Instagram stories too. And they kind of have to vary because of, size, obviously, but also like Twitch is limited to photos rather than videos and things like that. So just make a few little graphics and get ready to post on socials when I go live.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about Murph 2?
Excuse you.
Lord.
Just because I have a nose today doesn't mean.
Oh my God, she did not.
Oh man, my pre-stream kind of routine has definitely changed a lot over the years. I also am a big checklist girly just because there are so many things I have to test, specifically in regards to audio, which is hilarious because I start off every stream by saying, hey chat, tell me how my audio sounds. But I have a ton of stuff all split out, and OBS is my beloved streaming software, but gosh, does it not work consistently, I find. I think that you have the trouble with any software, right? Like anytime technology is involved, you can't just like bank that everything is going to work. So it's very much a lot of like sitting down, testing each individual source to make sure it's working the way, at least that audio is coming through, even if it's not mixed properly yet. As well as just testing all the different integrations. My setup has not been streamlined the way I want, so that means that I have a lot of different programs to test. I have to test tits, I have to test trigger fire, I have to test my polypop audio, and I have to test all of my vignette integrations. I have to make sure my buttons are working on my stream deck for a couple of things just to be sure. And then I have a 2 PC setup, so I have to make sure that the PCs are talking to each other before I hit start, and that can always be an interesting time. So I have a checklist, and then I used to be an expert like Murph and make cute little go live notifications, but I got lazy. So I usually just I make a face in OBS and take a screenshot of it and I post that on Twitter.
That's so
I
cute.
just see those. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that. I mean, to be fair though, like my actual setup is a little bit less than yours, so I don't know neither one of us is being lazy. The setup is just different, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm only running 2 programs when I stream. I just run OBS and V9, and that's it. I don't have to, I mean, I have extensions. Like I still use Triggerfire for some things and stuff like that, but I don't use Tits anymore. I don't have any other like actual things open that I'm running. So I think we're placing our time in different spaces. That's all.
Truly. And I will make graphics for like special event streams and things like that. But yeah, I just take a cute little selfie and then I post it. And I usually only post on Discord and Twitter. And I'm going to take a second to really plug the importance of posting when you're live, because Twitch live notifications get missed. And then I can't tell you how often people come into my chat and be like, thank God you posted because I didn't get the ping from Twitch. And I wanted to be here. So yeah, that's really what I go through. I just have my checklist. Most of it's audio related, if I'm real.
Audio is challenging. It's
Yeah, it
always
really is.
challenging.
We're not to talk about
Mm-mm.
You mentioned like the setup of like stuff beforehand, like those like having those sources kind of available. Either you or Murph did. Anyway. And I think that's part of like prep that almost gets forgotten, but it makes your job, like the more you like stream, the more you've got your rhythm and know what you're doing, like a lot more fluid and easier. And I'm gonna transition to Paz with this one. I feel like Paz is like a madman with all the pre-stream prep that he's doing.
Maybe just a little bit. Oh my god. Yeah, having a checklist is mandatory for me. And there's still times where it's just like, I've gone through the checklist, I've already hit the live button, and I'm like, no, we forgot something. There is something. And then I'd go through the checklist again, and then either one or two things is like, I feel like it, but I guess we're golden. And then, God forbid, somebody redeems something, and it's the one program that's not on.
It's usually me. I'll find it. If you need somebody to come in and break your stuff, I'll do it.
No, if
Free
someone
of
wants
charge.
to actually break my software,
A
shout out to
service.
Fire Angel. I don't know how she does it. I don't know. Like, the way she breaks things, they were working beforehand. They were online, and then they're not.
Special talent.
It is.
Yeah.
Is it those exclamation mark commands? Or is it like just anything
Just
Fire Angel
honestly,
can get their hands
anything. I don't remember. She legit broke something in a way that
She
I
broke
couldn't
Stream
fathom.
Elements once.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, yeah, I think that was, yeah. Yeah. Like, it's not a real talent that one should be proud of, but dang, that is amazing. But
on.
needless to say.
Now I know. Now I know who did the Cloud Strike stuff. Sorry.
Oh my god.
Allegedly.
crazy.
Confirmed.
Go on, Paz.
All I was gonna say though, like checklist definitely mandatory. If you're just starting off though, I wouldn't fret over having an amazing like setting up like a 30-point checklist for most of the things where you're just going over into detail. If you're just hitting go live, like there's nothing wrong with that. But like when you start to develop more of a complicated system, having that checklist definitely is gonna be more. It makes the streams feel less scuffed when you're midstream going, wait, I gotta turn something on. Hold on, you know. However, I do want to pivot a little bit, and we all, like, because we have all talked about having a checklist, you know, but what about, like, for example, if we're doing something a little bit different, a little bit unique, such as having a collaboration event, but more specifically, someone you've never collaborated with before. So, like, for me, whenever I have, like, something new, something different that's just kind of out of the norm, and I'm having someone else come in, I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna go over like, hey, here's how things are kind of gonna run. Here's how things are kind of gonna go. If you have any questions, now's the time to ask. Even for like the podcast, like every new person we got in or have come in, like I sit down, like all right, so like here's the general outlook, how the the recording is gonna go. Here's the kind of like the do's and the don'ts, and then open it up for possible questions. So I think having that as like, and not necessarily part of like a checklist, but also like a pre-stream prep. If you're doing something unique, something like more specifically with someone that is going to be participating in it, having that conversation beforehand, very, very, very important.
Do you know, Murph? We have a mutual friend who I think does this absolutely incredibly well. That's Moth Mom.
Yeah, I agree. I knew exactly where you were going.
Yeah.
I think I learned a lot from her when it came to collabing, because I had only done like one-on-one collabs really until I started interacting with her group, which is a little bit larger. And she is so in depth with how she plans things out. I mean, she'll make a separate Discord to bring everybody in. I kind of adopted that when I had my 1-year celebration a little while back, and kind of did the same thing. It made things so easy and seamless. And I think it's just that, like Paz is talking about, that planning piece. Just if you're the person hosting, it's so important to make sure that your guests feel at ease, right? They're just coming in, they're participating, they're not having to worry about anything. You're giving them the details that they need. You're answering questions before they have them, to just kind of make that easy for everybody. And I think that's like the best thing you can do really as a host, is just try to make it as simple as possible. We had that collab together back where we did the BTS, like the guessing the member.
Oh,
and that was something that like, I wanted to set that up, but I couldn't really do it because I wasn't allowed to look at the images. So that was really challenging. I had to I had to seek out Ron's help to kind of just go through hundreds of pictures of BTS. That poor human did that for me. But just like, taking that extra step to be like, okay, this is kind of my responsibility. I set this game up. I got to figure out somebody who can help me and kind of do all these steps so that when Bag gets here, she can just pop in, have a good time. It's no stress to the people that are joining you.
And it was fun. And
it was a really good time.
Earlobes, and we did look at pockets.
Yes,
and we did guess
a few times. Yeah,
we did guess. We did our best.
It was a good time. Yeah, it was really fun. It was a little like scuffed and weird looking, and I kind of made it look a little funky on purpose. Like it was fun. It was like a fun, weird little moment in stream, and I think it was really enjoyable. But yeah, I think that's important. Just making people feel like they can just come in and have fun, and then they'll want to come back and they'll want to do it again.
I think at the core of everything we're talking about, give yourself the time you need to do the things you need to do is a true lesson. Because, whether it's your pre-stream checklist, giving yourself a full half hour or 15 minutes or however long you need, or it could even be something that takes days of preparation. And so, like, for example, like Murph's thing she's talking about, where she had to find somebody to source some images and put the thing together and then like come up with the format and everything. Give yourself the time that you need to give yourself and plan ahead. If you're doing a big event, make sure that you have an idea of what you want to do, how you want to accomplish it. Make sure you have time and technology available to do it. It's actually funny, we were talking about this. I'm getting ready to do a very, very different stream format this upcoming weekend. I am having a recipe contest for my community, and several members have submitted recipes that I'm gonna cook, and then I'm gonna rate them and like put them head to head. And I have been thinking about it for over a month about exactly like how I want to do it. And we're getting a Baguette POV in the kitchen at some point. I'm gonna pre-record it, but I recently purchased a thing that will strap my phone to my forehead, and I'm gonna go film.
Oh, nice.
Ratatouille style over here.
And I'm gonna edit it together, and then hopefully for every dish there will be at least one small video cobbled together that's like the process. And heaven help my phone battery and my storage space on my phone while I'm doing this, but like I knew this was going to take a long time to plan, so I planned it like 2 months in advance, and now it's all coming together. Give yourself the time you need to do the things you need to do.
Make sure you also test your equipment and software beforehand. Make sure you iron out the kinks. Not that it's like necessarily 100% bad thing when something breaks or it doesn't work the way intended on stream. I mean, scuff's always going to be a part of stream. It's inevitable. But like, the more you kind of like iron things out beforehand, the more like I say professional, like it's like a must-have. But it definitely does come off more professional when things are not breaking or you're kind of like tinkering with stuff live on stream. But I do want to make a very important note here. Like, that's not like the worst thing ever. Don't fret over if it happens. It's just part of streaming. That's just part of life. It's just how it is.
Yeah, and you can have a backup plan too. Like if there's a game you know that your computer struggles with and potentially you may need to turn your model off and use a PNG, like have that set up and ready to go so that you're not stressed in the moment. If you need to make a quick switch over to something else, then chat doesn't know you're stressed. They understand. They want to see the gameplay and it'll be fine. You can work through that stuff.
When it comes to that, I mean, I think Paz, when I think about like scuff, the largest consequence for scuff is that it just can break audience immersion, right?
Yes.
Like, let's be real. It's not that it's unprofessional, because even in professional settings, things can go wrong. But having that pre-planning and being able to pivot helps you not break immersion as much. Because even though, like, I know some people will joke me like, my immersion, like maybe some people take immersion seriously or don't, but you know, there are definitely viewers out there that if something goes like really wrong and you can't pivot off of it, like they'll be like, oh, okay, that's awkward, bye. Like, so I mean, it does happen. So it's really more about just having that backup plan, having that pre-testing so that you don't do that. That's really what it is.
Nice. I feel like, what's it called? It's hard to even add to you guys just because I feel like you guys have nailed it right on its head kind of thing with the ideas so far. I love it. I think especially just because, what is it? The thing that really resonates with me is just kind of looking after the people that you're collaborating with, like going all the way back to that. Like, I often collab with a lot of people that don't even stream, you know, like they're just like IRLs or things like that. So one thing I'd like to add on to that is how you also want to share the game with them too. Like if it's like let's say like a visual novel kind of format, ask if they want an OBS point of view, because it makes it easier for them to also have a gander at chat with the way you have it set up, or along with the game, that kind of thing, or maybe directly game share through Discord, so they could at least get like live kind of stuff. I remember with like Bag, when I had her on for Danganronpa, for example, you know, just having, what was it? There's still some moments because it's kind of awkward. Sometimes they say some of the line and then they don't actually finish the line. But for the most part, I think making sure that the person that you're collaborating with has the capability of being on the right page with you, and you know, interacting with things live, you know, is just as helpful. So I'd like to pin that on as well. How do you guys, for the big boy projects, like we've got, like we're talking subathons, we're talking eating diabolical stuff, we're talking.
You said the same thing twice.
For me. I may or may not have had a cheese subathon, but yeah,
That was a good time, actually.
How do we feel about picking our brains on how we brainstorm for these kinds of things? What do you get inspired by to come up with such things? I'd actually like to start with Bag on this one, because this is something like you said, it's been like a couple months, maybe 2 months or something, if I remember correctly from a couple minutes ago. Short-term memory.
Yeah.
Yeah, like walk us
So-
through it.
So, for subathons and event streams, a lot of times they end up going hand in hand for me. I have a lot of ideas, or I see things that I watch a lot of streamers. First of all, number one big tip I can give a content creator: watch other content creators.
Yeah, for
They're
sure.
geniuses.
I agree with that.
They're all geniuses, and you'll find some really, really good things. And it's so the first thing I do is I just kind of come up with some ideas. Sometimes it also just comes from interacting with your community as well. You might find, like, for example, my community is really, really, they're all foodies. Quite a few of them are foodies. And so the idea for a recipe contest came up because they're always kind of sharing recipes and talking about food. And I was like, well, wouldn't it be fun if, like, I did a little event for them, right? So, like, keep tabs on your community, keep tabs on trends, keep tabs on things that you see other creators do that you like, and then find a way to adapt it to your community and your style. Now, when it comes to, like, subathons or big event streams, my number one thing I want to do is figure out and flesh out my guests, because listen, I admire people that can do 24, 48 hours by themselves. I'm not that girl. So I like to sort of think about, okay, what are different games I could play? Who could I invite? And then start going from there, find a date that works, try to sort of flesh out when people are available or not. I've talked about this resource before, but one of my favorite resources for scheduling for large events is Doodle Forms. For those of you who were involved, I think all three of you were involved in my 1-year anniversary. I sent out a form, and it basically just lets you say, okay, we're going to be live for 3 days or 2 days or however long it was. And, or I think it was only 24 hours. And it just lets you, like, check the hours that you're available, and then it sends it back to the person who made the form, so I could literally see everyone's availability, like, side by side. So if you're doing a big event like that, I recommend Doodle Forms. I think they're really fantastic for scheduling and helping with that. The other big thing is rewards for your community. And this is where I've struggled a ton in the past. I like to give them meaningful rewards, and so a lot of times what I do is I just will go on Twitter or on all this other social media and just search, like, #subathon, and,
I've
like,
done that.
you will
Yeah, I have
find yeah, like, you will find things that can be helpful. Another really great tip is to have in your Discord server, if you have a Discord server, a place for community suggestions. I've gotten great ideas for subathons from community suggestions as well, which is also awesome because it's something you know is going to incentivize at least one person in your community, right? Because they suggested it. They want to see you do it. Not that you should put everything behind a paywall, but if you're looking for ideas, having the ability for your community to kind of say, oh, this would be really fun, or I really like this, is a great idea as well. From there, it's marketing the event appropriately. Once you have your guests and your rewards for your community all figured out, you just have to make sure everybody knows, like, hey, this is coming up. This is who you can plan to see. These are kind of some of the games we might play. Here are some of the incentives to start hyping people up and get them excited about the event. Then you just have to keep doing that until it's time. And that's really the process, you know? Like, I've done personally, I think 3 long stream /subathons. And then I've helped plan them or been a part of them for others on a couple of occasions as well. And that's, like, the formula I found that works.
Nice. Now let's bring it back to good old Christmas season, December season. Murph, you had a whole month planned out recently.
Yeah,
What was that like?
I did do a month last year at the end of the year. I think that, again, we're just learning that I'm a little neurotic and I plan a lot. It's just like planning everything out and going through all of those steps one piece at a time. When I was doing the month-long celebration, To be clear, I was not live for a month because I can't do that. But I had basically a month where I was live every single night at a different time. And then at the end of the month, I was live for a full week, which was an experience. I think I want to do it again this year, but I'm not sure. I've kind of talked to my partner about it a little bit, but it can be stressful when you do these long streams. And I think just going into it with a good plan and knowing what you're doing is important. I use a few different tools when I'm brainstorming. I think probably the biggest one that I use for streaming is Milanote. I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard of that before. MILA Note. It's basically like a desktop just app, or you can use the browser, and it's like an open form brainstorming tool. You can add links into it. You can add you can add photos into it, videos, charts, like all different things. So I kind of go in there and treat that like a mood board almost for what I want to do, just to kind of like let my brain vomit a little bit when I have a big idea. And then I kind of work it down from that so that I can have a better idea of what each part of the process might look for me, so I can plan it out. And I don't always have a lot of guests come in on long streams. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I'll do like a 2 or 3 day stream and I only have someone come in like one time and the rest of it is me. So again, it's just a lot of making sure I have like times kind of set for myself. So I know I'm going to play this game from this time to this time. I'm going to take a break at this time, and just kind of sticking to that so that I make sure the stream is flowing the way I want it to. It kind of keeps me in a rhythm of not feeling like I'm going to be live forever if I'm doing a long event, and kind of breaks that up for me a little bit so that it just kind of flows in a way that doesn't feel like I've been live for 5 days, you know, and that I'm still fresh and like the first night that I was live. So I think that's the most important thing, just taking all those pieces big picture and bringing them down so that you can really see what you need to do and how you can break that up while you're doing a big event.
And voila, a Murph masterpiece.
Gosh,
I don't know about that.
Listening to you talk reminded me of a couple other things I'll throw out there if you're doing long streams.
Yeah.
Emergency power sources or battery backups for your PC. If you have a brownout of power, which is where you lose power for just a few seconds, being able to prevent your stream from going down and your PC from shutting off, huge. At the end of my 24-hour 1-year stream anniversary that I did, about 5 minutes after I hit the end stream button, power went out for like 3 seconds.
Oh no.
And
Wow.
then came back. And I was like, if that had happened when I was on stream, I would have been so upset because I would have been in the middle of my wrap up, right?
Yeah.
So that can be a really big thing to consider in terms of hardware behind the scenes. If not, making sure you also have your settings on Twitch where it will temporarily display a message in case of like internet outage to give you time to get back onto stream, little things like that.
I would also say, just like piggybacking off of you, be prepared if you're doing a stream that's more than 12 hours. I would say your OBS is gonna not maybe be your friend the whole time. That you just have to kind of be prepared for that. I walked into my week-long stream being like, well, we'll see how long my computer lasts before I have to like take a 30-minute break and restart. And I somehow made it through like 5 days with no computer issues. I don't know what happened there.
You used all your luck for the whole rest of your life.
I am thankful to the OBS gods for that moment in time, but just be prepared that after a day, after 12 hours, it may act a little funny. I had to just like completely recopy and paste things into my rooms. Like it was acting a little weird when I was going from room to room. I think the program was just like overloaded. But you just know that there will be little things like that. You're not going to be able to avoid all of that stuff if you're doing a long stream. Your hardware likely will just have an issue. So don't panic over it. People know that you've been live for 4 days or however long you've been live, and they'll work with you. So you don't need to stress over it.
Honestly, I almost see it as like your PC kind of. So I've heard this thing, and I don't know if it's actually right, but like with humans, like after 21 hours, I think you almost get into like a drunken state, and it's that drunken state that your computer goes into, and is really chugging like during my subathon, where like I think it was like 48 hours in, and Twitch kind of restarts. It doesn't restart on the timer sometimes, but it'll restart on your OBS. It's weird. It's inconsistent. But yeah, I guess what's it called? That weird drunken state. Be prepared for it. If you want to completely like, you know, just be like, chat, be right back. I need to restart stream. Get like ready for like a natural kind of start point to start it back up. I know like some YouTubers with their subathons, they'll actually just like, I don't know if it's because YouTube doesn't let them, but you just like at 24 hours, it's okay. Make a new stream, like just a brand new fresh one, but. Jumping off the drunk comment that I said earlier, pass. So we've got some diabolical stuff on your channel that I'm sure had some interesting planning, whether it's Tarnish Tuesdays, whether it's those lovingly sabotage Saturdays, or what you experienced today. Walk us through how you set up for that in the most sober way possible, please.
Well, Baguette's the one that does the Tipsy Tarnish Tuesdays.
It's true.
Oh, you got lumped into it, right?
No,
right.
Oh no, it's mine.
Yeah,
It's
100%,
mine.
Yours?
100%
Oh.
Baguette's.
My brain is fried.
That's okay.
No.
Yeah, no, Tipsy Tarnish Tuesday is big mine. Returning next Wednesday, but on a friend's channel probably. We'll see.
I just remember the Paz bag collabs. So I just like it's one of them.
Oh yeah, that was on Thursdays. We would do
That's it.
we
Oh my
we would
god.
do what's it called?
Okay.
I forget the name. Paradise Killer.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. But Paz's Sabotage Sundays are something that deserve to be talked about. They're so good. I want to hear about it.
Where to begin? So originally started with the fact that I used Chaos Tricks, and I saw you could do other things with it. I'm like, no, I can see my chat really getting into this, and then we kind of just like the name Sabotage Sunday just rolled off the tongue. It doesn't roll off perfectly, I'll admit that, but like it was just like it's catchy enough that it would work. So I was like, all right, so what am I gonna do? So I picked a game from what Chaos Tricks could do, which would have been, in this case, Elden Ring. And I'm just like, all right, we'll set this up. We'll put in some channel points. We'll give them the options, and then we'll also do options for bits for those that don't have channel points. And chat, Rune Bears are literally my nemesis. They spawned so many of the things. Now when I see them in game, I avoid them. Yeah. That being said, for those that do want to do that style of content, my condolences to you. Just make sure you put an appropriate amount of points depending on how badly you want to have for a day. Because they'll do it. They'll go ham. I'm pretty sure.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, Baguette can attest for when she added Chaos Tricks to her Elden Ring.
Yes. Yeah. I'd say like whenever it comes to audience integration, audience interaction, my number one tip would be test it, because you don't want it. That's the one thing you really don't want to break, right? Because that's what you're hyping your whole stream up about. But yes, be conscientious of how much you stream and how much people watch you when you're setting channel point redeems. If you stream pretty rarely, you're safe to set lower, redeems for, things like that. But if you have regulars who are in there and you stream a lot every week, they will have hundreds of thousands of points saved up, and they will use them. They will wait until that moment to drop those points on you. And some of them might even have multiple alt accounts that they also use to grind points on your streams, and they will use those
That sounds
points
like a dig at someone.
well. Pat, you wouldn't know anything about that.
Oh
would
my
you?
god.
I took that inspiration from Cloud. Did you forget?
That's true. Cloud did do it first.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So, they might steal their partner's points. They might have alt accounts.
I mean, or if you're me, my partner's one of my mods and he just gives people back their points while I'm live. And I'm like, where you've been in here once in the last like month? How do you have so many points all of a sudden?
God,
And Ron's just like giggling behind me. I'm like, okay, thanks.
That's brilliant.
Oh my god.
So introduce inflation. That's what we're saying.
Absolutely.
yeah,
keep in mind your economy, you know?
Yeah, if anything, that's the one thing that I can say that I mastered on Twitch is being able to predict roughly how many channel points they have, and then being able to go, all right, we need to set this at this level price, because if we do any less than this, they're gonna use the heck out of it.
I will say too. Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Murph.
Oh, no, I was going to say, you know, I don't have as many like chaos rewards and things like Paz and Bag do. And I think because of that, sometimes channel points will kind of stack too. And people will ask you for things that have higher redeems. So that's something to think about also, even when you're not doing, I know we were kind of talking about events and stuff and we've pivoted a little bit, but I've had people be like, can we have something that costs more? Because I only have these little redeems, or I have a lot of things they can redeem, but they're pretty inexpensive. So I had to think of things that took a little bit more of my time or took a little bit more of Stream's time where we were doing something specifically for them so that they felt like they were getting some value out of their points if they had been saving them.
I guess to piggyback on that idea, I've been thinking about, honestly, like I'm in a similar boat where I'm like, I have a suspicion that everybody has at least like 50 grand. worth of
Right? Yeah.
and I'm just like, how do I give you something that expensive? And I'm thinking like, I would recommend to potentially even have, as long, this is based on your policy and how you give these out. VIP slots, you have a decent amount of those when you're getting started, or at least a couple. I think you get more over time, but as you grow, kind of thing. And then subs. So for me, I was a little hesitant on doing that at first. I'm actually probably going to embed this soon after this recording, but for a while I was unemployed for a little bit, so I'm like, giving out free subs reliably, I might not be able to do that. But now that I've got kind of like a stable-ish job, I'm like, okay, that'd actually be a great way to, people love freebies. There's a reason why Costco does so well. I mean,
Right, truly.
so like, yeah, like giving them kind of those kinds of incentives, and it's not the kind of incentive that we actually talked last time about, of like $50 like gift card kind of thing, and that's all you're like known for. It's like, no, like it's a sub. Often your emotes are very like an embodiment of the channel, like that kind of thing. I remember recently I've been gifted like a bag sub, and I'm like, man, this feels amazing. I can smug dance all I want in everybody's streams.
Everyone loves the smug dance, I'm telling you.
But yeah, like introducing something like that, you might get more silly little emotes floating about in other people's communities and your own. So yeah. A nice cheeky reward for spending a lot of time with you.
Yeah, I took like that's where the K-pop break came from, because we only do K-pop content once a week. So, and I could tell there was times where people were asking me questions, or they wanted to watch something with me, or and it wasn't Sunday. So that was a way for me to have an expensive reward, because it takes time away from what we're doing. I have to kind of pivot my stream. But it gives them an opportunity to do something that they usually only get to do with me once a week, and they can do it anytime. They can do it multiple times through stream, if they have the points, and it's a nice expensive reward for them to spend some points on.
Fair share.
So if we're gonna... No, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, on the topic of redeems and emotes and subs and all this stuff, how much time would you say a month do you guys spend on brand management or content management, in terms of like looking at new emotes or updating something on your Discord or updating something on your about on Twitch? Like, how long do you guys spend on non-stream related activities that are just like building new features for your content or maintaining your brand?
I don't think I spend as much time on, I should spend more time on emotes. Let me put that out there. I think that that's an important part of your brand, and I should probably spend more time on that. But monetarily, that's hard sometimes, right? Because you have to pay. It's expensive to pay for good art. So I think for me, I spend a lot of time in assets as far as like my room and maybe changing an outfit or changing something that's like a small change that updates my look and my aesthetic, but doesn't completely change my brand, but kind of keeps it fresh for the people that come in all the time. But I think that even like you mentioned the about section, stuff like that, keeping that up to date. Sometimes you just forget that you haven't looked at your about section in like 4 months or 6 months or however long. And you're like, wow, my content has shifted a little, or, you know, I'm using a different this or that, or, you know, stinger, and I maybe have the wrong person, and it's unintentional. It's just that you kind of forget that information is there. So I think that it is important to make sure that like every month or so you are looking at that, you're keeping it fresh. It's up to date with what you're doing, the content that you're providing to everybody. Yeah, I think that is really important, Bag. But I do think emotes are, I think, even getting more prevalent on Twitch. I see people using them more. There's like a lot more fun happening in chat these days, I feel like. So it is important.
Paz, Mavi?
Well, I was gonna go back to brainstorming, but I'll let Mafi go first before we kind of hop back to that.
Okay.
Sounds good. Okay. Well, I feel like I almost passively do it. Like some of the I post VODs on my VOD channel, for example, so those get like a thumbnail. Some of you guys that would keep up on my like Twitter or like the Discord pings for like weekly schedules and things like that, every once in a while I just change them. Like I just kind of rip up the script and just try something new. Sometimes it's just nice to just keep it refreshed, and I just do it for fun. And I think to almost be in that mindset of, all right, we're gonna rip up the script and try something new, or we're gonna evolve what we currently have into its own nouveau next step, is like I think like it's just something that I don't even actively have to really think about. The about me stuff, guilty, absolutely guilty. Yeah. Especially on your other social medias. Like I was initially thinking the Twitch, but I'm like, damn, I like even now I'm like, is my TikTok's profile picture even like updated with this model? You know, like stuff like that. Pay attention to like what your brand is on every platform, and those bios, and whether or not you prefer to have a link tree or like directly to your channel, etc., etc. But yeah.
I feel like I've spent a lot more time this year on it, just because I've been updating a lot of my branding and graphics this year. Because I decided that my goal for 2024 was going to be defining my brand, and I am slowly transitioning everything over to Blue Rose Bakery. Everything was like purple behind me before, but now like I'm moving everything to blue and trying to like put little roses places. I've commissioned a ton of art and a ton of emotes with my character, and so I spent a lot of time working with artists and talking to different people and coming up with different things. I feel like I've spent probably at least 10 hours a month at minimum just like working on things, projects.
That doesn't include models, right?
Branding. That doesn't include models.
Because I'm like 5 a.m. calls, like just watching you go off, like on those beautiful models. That's gonna be 10 hours in itself. No.
Listen, the models is just like, it's just a hobby. I will say, there are times that I do make models for specific engagement things, like for Pride Month, for example. That's something else to keep in mind on the topic of behind the scenes and like things you don't realize that creators do, is like we have to keep track of trends and events and things going on in the world. So like Pride Month happens and suddenly all of your favorite streamers' stuff has all the, like the Pride stuff all over it. Like that level of like change can be a lot. I've seen some people just go balls to the wall with it too. Like their whole setup is just Pride, and it's amazing to see. But just keep in mind that like that takes time, so plan accordingly. if you want to be doing that kind of stuff for your content.
Are we good? Are we ready to
Yeah.
pivot back to pass?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I only had a little tidbit in regards to brainstorming, to kind of help you get started, because, like, I don't know if anybody's like me, when you kind of sit down and it's like, man, I gotta come up with an idea, often I will find myself, well, I'll just go to YouTube, I'll just watch a 5-minute video that's irrelevant to what I'm trying to think of, and then a half hour goes by, and I'm just like, I haven't accomplished anything right now. For me, my recommendation, if you're anything like me, pop in like some lo-fi music, something to help you focus, and don't get distracted. It's all right if you get distracted every now and then. Like maybe if you're like 2 hours in, go ahead, take like a 2-minute break, a 3-minute break, 10-minute break, don't matter. But definitely just kind of like find things that will help you kind of get a focal point, and don't try to think of everything all at once. If my recommendation, break it down into small parts. Like for example, if there's a type of game you want to do, but you want to do something interesting, all right, well, what's the game you want to do? What's the genre? Is it like a first-person shooter? Is it RPG? To kind of give an example for me that I just literally recently did, I did Duolingo because I wanted to learn French, but I wanted to also make it entertaining. So it's like, all right, I sat down, I was like, all right, I want to do Duolingo, but how do I make this interesting? Do I want to do redeems? Do I want to do like a wheel of death? You know, that sort of thing. And I just broke that up into smaller parts, and then I worked on each part individually. So don't try to eat the whole plate at once. Break it up into smaller portions. That's pretty much the only part that I kind of wanted to add in there, because that's more, I guess, like, not really, what's the word? Not behind the scenes, but like more of like managing the whole brainstorming part, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And if any of you guys were thinking of the Schlatt meme or Schlatt recording or reaction to that one guy eating a plate, that's not what Paz meant. Such a cursed video. Let's start eating the house. Oh God. But
I mean, it's a good point of sort of chunking stuff up. I think that if when I first got started, I remember Murph was on a call with me, and she was like, "Don't feel like you have to have everything ready to go, because if anybody comes in your chat and is like, why don't you have cool redeems yet on stream 3? They're a jerk." Like,
Yeah, truly.
Nobody.
Yeah, for
you don't
sure.
have to have
Everybody
everything
starts
perfect.
somewhere. Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
have to have everything perfect. The first time I went live, I literally just was like, okay, click button, and didn't know what I was doing at all. And that's fine. Like,
Yeah.
you'll figure that stuff out as you go. You don't have to have everything at the very beginning.
And like chunking it up really helps. So like,
Yeah.
for me, that was like model. Okay, check. I know what game I want to play. Okay, check. I have a start screen, I have a game screen, I have a chat screen, I have an end screen. Didn't have a BRB screen yet. We didn't know what breaks were when we got started, or how to do them. And like, that was it. Like, there was nothing else crazy, no sound alerts, no redeems. And I've slowly built those over time. And the great thing is then you have like this library sitting, and so even if you discontinue a redeem, you can bring it back for future stuff. So like, for example, I do need to discontinue Baggy Waggy. She is supposed to be gone, but I can bring her back whenever I want to bring her back, you know?
I think we've all talked about lists too, and if you're just starting and you don't know what should be on your list, look that stuff up. People post stuff on Twitter and everywhere just to kind of give you an idea of like what you should have, basic things you should have to start as a streamer, so that like as you're going, you kind of know that when you're in that behind the scenes process and you're figuring out, okay, how are all these steps going to work from A to Z, you have somebody kind of helping you create that outline. If you don't have somebody to reach out to, if you know people in the community, reach out to them. I'm sure, you know, most people are usually willing to help you, and don't feel like you have to like figure it all out on your own in the beginning, and continue to be that way. As you continue to grow, there will be people that can help you too behind the scenes figure out how to update something, how to make this one piece better, how to make, you know, all these different pieces fall into place a little more comfortably for you as you go along.
for sure. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm like what, like three and a half years into this thing, and I'm still learning. I've taken
Yeah.
my L's. I've learned so much from, especially these three that we have on like today alongside me. I feel like at any point I could quite comfortably, and I'm so grateful to be in the position that I know all three of these people, that they could help me out with something technical that I can enhance my stream with. And what you'll find is a lot of people are very proficient or just very experienced in said something, and honestly just go ahead and network with these people. Like we said, don't just go into it trying to leech off them, but take them out for dinner first, and then whether it's V9 node shenanigans, if I need to know something about that from Murph, or Bag on
Vroid makeup.
Yeah, exactly. Vroid makeup, or just my Unity expressions, or something of that sort. Or if I want to spice up and absolutely cause a shit show with Paz, this is such a beautiful network, and get ready to build your own as a content
I have
creator.
such an innate desire to see Mafi host a Paz stream. Just all the things, all the elements of a Paz stream, but Mafi hosting one. I think that'd be
I would
hilarious.
just be in the chat feeling so bad the whole
That would be
time.
so random.
That would be so good. I just also like to bully my friends, I guess. So I show my love and affection. Letting me make your eardrums bleed.
I'm gonna say it right now, condolences to anybody that does what I do. It is not easy.
You make it look
Oh,
easy, Paz.
You do make it look easy,
It is
Paz.
not
It's
easy.
true.
Professional panhandler.
Oh my god.
I hate that
No.
came about and was a thing.
No.
It's both like anti-me and anti like in character. There's a lore reason why I hate pans, and now I hate it both as a character and in real life. For those that don't know, the people throw pans at me.
Out of context, VTubing is so weird. People throw pans at me. You
Yeah.
They
know,
throw pans. They use tits to throw things at you.
just a lot of the things we do sound so funny out of context. People
Yeah.
pick me up and shake me with googly eyes on. We love that.
I draw
Think
on
about
GIMP.
that sentence.
I make women in full-time jobs stick their tongue out at their
Oh,
monitors.
don't do this.
That's
to
the
me.
best. That's
It's funny. It's funny every time you do it, Moff, because I know that is the reason.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this little. And then I have to do it because you paid points and I have integrity. I will stick my tongue out. I will do what I have to.
I redeem it right now. Will you do it?
If you really want me to do it in front of all these people, I will. Oh my god. I'm not looking at my chat though, so good luck.
Oh my god. So funny.
I mean, this is a good point if we're talking about, technical things, to move on to technical setup. This one's a bit of a doozy. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's a lot of moving parts to streaming.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
So who wants to take the lead? Nobody? Paz take the lead? All right.
As you take the lead.
Sure thing. Well, I'm gonna hit it with the basics. If you're gonna get into starting streaming, or if you're already kind of still new to it, kind of figure out the base level of things that you need. So for example, if you're going into VTubing, are you 2D? Are you 3D? Are you PNG? And then kind of figure out what the corresponding software that you need for that is. If you're going into using like a webcam, then it's gonna be like either OBS, I think Streamlabs is the other one, and then you got to figure out, okay, which one I'm gonna use. So kind of make like a checklist of like the software that you need to use, and you don't have to know it 100% from the start. It's fine to kind of get into it and kind of learn as you go, but definitely 100% learn the software. Take the time, if you can, to just sit down, understand the ins and outs. Like it took me probably like maybe a year before I still like I delved deep into OBS. Like I learned what filters are. I learned like gate, like noise gates, three band equalizer, audio ducking. Like these are all aspects to OBS that, you know, if you were just jumping in from the start, you wouldn't know about. But like just kind of get like a little checklist. Like, all right, I'm gonna get into streaming. I need to learn how OBS works, and I need to learn how my in VC face will work. You know, so just get the basics. All the bells and whistles that can come afterwards. Don't stress yourself out by going, all right, I need all these things that everybody else uses. You're gonna burn yourself out. Take it slow. Learn one thing at a time.
I think you make a really good point, Paz, like learning the ins and outs of your softwares, because inevitably, one thing I'll say, you will add things and they will have unintended combination consequences with something else you already had. And the better you understand the softwares that you're using, the better you'll be able to troubleshoot that or prevent it. Like, for example, a super long neck. The more that you understand how what you're using works, the better you'll be able to adjust and adapt to the things that you want to add for your content later on.
Yeah, I think that's a good point as well. I have things that are the same way back that I still can't even fix. Like if you hit my head the right way, it won't go back to the regular size. But I have a way to turn it off, right? Like how to reset it essentially manually if I need to, and I have a button for it. So just knowing if there's something you can't fix that may have a funny outcome, and they learn like what order to do things in to break something, just having a way to fix that so that you're not stressed in that moment.
Yeah, be prepared. People will learn. They will if they go, oh, if I do this way, it does the funny thing. 100%. I can attest to this. They will do the funny thing.
They will do the thing. You could also do what I do and make models of all of your friends so that you have access to their model files. And if they are the ones doing it to you, you just swap into their skin for a minute and do it back to them. That's my favorite. There are videos of long neck Paz twerking on the internet because of that.
Oh my god.
You're teaching people to become evil. That's not the point of this one.
Sorry, that will be episode 12. I apologize. I'm getting ahead of myself.
I'll talk a little. Oh, go ahead, Muffy.
Oh, what were you gonna get?
Oh no, I was just gonna say I think we were talking about the technical setup a little bit of like what we do behind the scenes before stream.
I gotcha.
I think I'm like probably I really open 2 programs and say, let's go. That's kind of what I do. I think I'll be really honest, all my stuff broke once. And because of that, I had to kind of redo everything. And it was just a good opportunity to put everything in v9n, and I have like never looked back because I haven't had to yet. I'm sure there are things I'll want to do later that will prevent me from just using these 2 programs, but yeah, I really just open up OBS, I open up v9n, and I get my social stuff set up because I like to post on all my socials right when I go live. And usually, like I mentioned earlier, that's just Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch stories, and then I'll post in Discord. Sometimes I post on Tumblr, not that often, but I am kind of a social media baby. I post everywhere just to kind of put Murph's face in front of everyone I can before I go live, just in case. And sometimes you kind of forget about those other platforms. You don't use them that often, and if people just see you on their stories when they're scrolling along, you know, that can be an extra person that joins you for the evening. So it doesn't hurt to post if you have an account, but you also don't have to make that a priority. If there's one platform that you use more than others, you know, you can just use that as well.
I was gonna talk about it's like similar on a similar note of just prepping. What was it? So you talked about v9n. With me, I am a WaterThough user. But what's funny about WaterThough, I forget if you can actually download it straight from the website, but I got it through OBS, through Steam. And one day there was a day recently, I think it was last Monday, where me and Egan were like, yeah, we're both streaming today. Well, I'm game sharing Himamori. I'm trying to play Wire though. So make sure that you have that family set up on Steam, and that, like, you know, all those like check boxes of yes, they can have my account, yes, they can, you know, play this and that. Be prepared for like random stuff like that like just these very specific, I guess, like scenarios that could happen, but having like backups for them. I at that time didn't have VC Face, but I'm like now like, okay, I have VC Face downloaded in case, you know, something shits the bed on Steam's end and I can't use Wire though, even though like we've sorted it out since. But stuff like that. And also be aware that the stuff that you have set up for one software might not be the best and compatible with another, right? So there's some very V9N specific stuff, for example, that's like embedded into the thing. Wiredo has their own like very specific stuff, so remember to change up those channel point redeems and all those little things here and there before you proceed. But yeah, that was a funny little moment that I discovered last week.
Play around in your software too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just get in there and mess with it. Like,
Absolutely.
you're offline. Who cares if you break your model? If your neck is 7, miles long, who cares? Like, get in there and just like, what's this button do? What's this button do? How do I use
buttons
this?
do at the same time?
Yeah, exactly. And I like pull Ron over because I'm like, let me pick your brain. How do you think I should do this? Should I, I had that freaking cookie redeem forever where Murph like pulled a cookie out of her back and ate it. That
Incredible.
took like 12 hours of me and Ron being like, okay, and then we have to move this finger 2 degrees to the right and then move this finger 3 degrees to the left. It was like
Dedication. Wow.
it took so long. It took me like 2 days because I was like, I have to step away from this. I have to step away. I have to step away. And I don't even use the redeem anymore, but that's a different,
So sad.
it's a different problem.
I
But
just wanna give you
just play with it.
cookies.
Well, you can give me cookies anytime you want.
I will. Malvi, listening to your story about Steam family sharing made me remember something. Hot tip: if you have a 2 PC setup and you are doing a collab via a Discord call, and your people need to be able to hear the audio of the game, but the game is on one computer, and your OBS and the call are through another, make a second Discord account and have it join the VC with you. You can make it share a screen. That has really revolutionized my 2 PC setup when it comes to sharing things and like sharing my screen in Discord. Like I have Baguette Baby and I have Croissant Cutie, and I'm like, Croissant is in every chat that I'm in, like because I'm like, if we're ever in this call, I need to be able to share my screen. But yeah, just hot tip: if you ever find yourself with a 2 PC setup, make 2 Discord accounts. Thank me later.
I do want to say one thing before I forget. For those that are tech illiterate, there are a lot of tutorials for just about anything you can find on YouTube. And if there is a very niche something that like you just don't understand, the video doesn't really teach you, just as I've said before, ask your peers around you. For example, like, whether or not you're part of the community, if you reach out to me asking me questions about Polypop, I will do my best to help you out. That's just how I am. Like, don't be afraid. I'm sure someone out there has the answer that you will probably, if you don't ask it, you're going to spend hours, maybe days, trying to figure it out when you could just have the answer within minutes.
And use Discords too. Like,
Yes.
Me9 has a Discord, and most of the time before I even have to post a question, someone has asked it. It's in there, and I can just see the solution. I can work on it on my own. If I really feel like I'm not getting anywhere, I can reply right in that thread, or I can start my own thread, and people are so quick to help you. So if you don't have people in your community or in another community to help you, use the Discords for these programs, because a lot of times the devs are in there too, and they're the ones helping you, and that's kind of the best thing you can ask for at the end of the day, really.
This actually reminded me that there's a really important part to streaming, and this is crucial to everyone getting started, and it's funny that we like maybe we just didn't naturally like think about it at first, but bots. That's what
Yes.
Discord reminded me of.
Oh god, Discord bots make me want to die sometimes, I'll be very honest.
But also Twitch bots too, you know?
Yeah.
So half
Yeah.
the time Stream Elements went on vacation.
I know. I have 3 different bots that I use on Twitch. It's like, but it's because sometimes the other ones aren't reliable for certain things, and so I have to use multiples. But yeah, that's a good point, Muffy.
I have been really loving Seribot, if you have
Absolutely.
heard of it. It has caught several bad actors in my chat who were trying to like spam and post links and things like that and auto banned them, which has been a delight. Definitely appreciate you, Seribot. It also has built-in anti-hate raid or anti like spam following raids, things like that. Where it will automatically catch those and remove them from your follower list as well, which is something you used to have to do manually after you were follow botted. If you don't know what being follow botted is, it's basically a bunch of bots come into your chat, hundreds to thousands at a time, and follow you. And usually they'll have like sometimes inappropriate usernames, things like that. And you used to have to manually remove all of those people after the fact. Not anymore. Seribot does a really good job, so I would definitely recommend Seribot. Stream Elements is a good beginner bot. And then I would say for your advanced to intermediate to advanced bot, mix it up, man. Mix it up. I'm having a great time learning it. That's one of the things I'm working on behind the scenes right now, is transitioning a lot of stuff over to Mix It Up bot. Really fantastic bot. So
Yeah, I use WiseBot for my like my ban protection and stuff like that on Twitch, like catching people, and it does a really good job too. So that's another alternative, and it's completely free. So that's good.
I guess this goes in hand with the Seribot mentioned earlier, Commander Root. So Seribot does collect them, get rid of them relatively like real time kind of thing, but let's say there's someone that's actually been in your community for a while and you kind of just want to remove them subtly even. There's stuff like Commander Root, which you can actually look at every single person that follows you and just kind of pick them off or give them a ban that way. And it's really neat, it's really clutch, and especially in a world that I don't think had Seribot just yet. I remember it was someone for my birthday. It was like my first birthday stream. They botted me to 2K, and now my Twitch statistics, like if I put them set to like forever, they're just like kind of fucked because of that person. So unfortunately that doesn't revert, but yeah, what you are able to do is pinpoint a time frame in which people follow. So you like set like, okay, like April 5th 2:30 p.m. to April 5th like 2:34 p.m. and then you can nuke all those people in that time frame, which is really neat. So yeah, Seribot and then Commander Root for these little more extra cases kind of thing. Go well hand in hand. I think what's sorry, go on.
Go ahead. I'll let you finish your thought.
I was actually going to transition to you because you use bots in a clever way. I think you've got yourself set up along with Kalani with pet bots, but if you'd also like to touch base on some other things, go ahead.
Well, the kind of the pet bots, honestly, they're more of an AI than an actual bot. They're basically used for TTS and that sort of thing. Not so much like in a traditional sense, like where we have stream elements and stuff, how they kind of manage stuff. They're more for like entertainment type thing to provide an extra caveat to stream. But what I wanted to talk about is something that I kind of just recently started using is Chatterino. And essentially, it basically allows you to pull open your own chat, but if you're doing like a collab where your collab partners are also live, you can pull open their chat. But the neat thing about it is like it keeps a log. So for example, if you had one person who's been consistently chatting in your thing, but like you miss something, and then like they're a bad actor, you can actually pull open, you can click on them and go through their entire history of everything that they've ever chatted. And I believe it's even from other past streams, because like I said, it keeps a log of it, if I recall. And you can go, oh yeah, they said a no-no on this day at this time, let's just go ahead and deal with them now. You can also see other interesting statistics, like when they get their account created. Like all you do is you click on their name, and it pulls all the information open. So you can see like when they're created, when they were following, if they were previously subbed, and for how long. You could, right from that little same menu, you can block them, you could ignore like highlights. You could even just like, if there are particular people that aren't necessarily bad actors, I believe you could also just hide them. So that way, if you just don't want to read certain messages, maybe if you're trying to focus on something, I'm not really sure. But like you have options. You can even time out for specific time frames. Like there are buttons that are there, like you do like 1 second timeouts all the way up to like 1 week timeouts, and instead of like manually typing it, it's just a click of a button. So it's a very, very, very useful software. Not something I'd recommend necessarily for if you're just starting out. Maybe for collaborations, because then you can see your collab partners chat and your chat. But aside from that, not until where you start getting a lot of people in your streams chatting would I really recommend it. But it is something that would be highly recommended if you are having like, not like rapid chat, but like enough where you're just like, you're gonna probably miss a few messages here and there, because you never know when something's gonna go down, and you kind of need to pull open a specific user to see, did they really do the no-no, and if so, like how bad is it? Like you got to grab details, kind of thing, you know.
Has got receipts.
Yeah, you can grab the receipts. Yeah.
That's, I think, a really good opportunity to transition and talk a little about the mod view on Twitch. If you have never looked at that before, if you go to twitch.tv/moderator, you can see the mod view for your own channel. There's a button that says moderate your own channel. Similarly, Paz, if you click on somebody's name in your chat through mod view, you can get a history there of everything that they've done. So even if you're not using Chatterino, but let's say you're streaming and somebody comes in and this is something kind of like half questionable, but you semi-recognize them and you're like, I feel like last time you were here, you were also kind of problematic and like walking the line. You can go in and you can see their history there as well as other like really useful things. So like you can, if a redeem doesn't go off properly, you can refund the person their channel points from the mod view if you have it set up to go to the queue. You can use mod view to see your auto mod. If you have auto moderator through Twitch set up, it might filter certain things and you can go through that and approve or deny those things. And you can also, of course, see your, there's like all of the bans and the history of moderator actions, shout outs, bans, timeouts, things like that. And also the predictions feature. So if you've never seen predictions, there's an option for you to like let people gamble their channel points. You can do that through your mod view as well, which I think can be really, really fun for engagement with everybody in chat. So make sure you check out your mod view and get used to those tools and have that set up the way you want it, because it can be really helpful when you're streaming if you have your mod view open. That way if something happens, you can just immediately take care of it if you don't have any mods active in your chat at the time.
Yeah, you can set up shield mode through there and everything too, which is really helpful not only for like situations that may be a little scary if you have like a bunch of people coming in and botting you at one time, but also just if you're doing like a long event like we were talking about earlier in the recording. You know, when I sleep at night during the long events, I put shield mode on so that only people that have been in chat for a certain period of time are able to chat when I'm not monitoring what's going on. And you could even totally lock it down so like only mods could chat or something like that if you wanted to, just to really put a lock on what's happening in chat if you're not able to monitor it, or if you know something is happening that you can't really handle by yourself or with like one mod in your chat.
I used that's a good thing. I used emote only chat for my last one, which was awesome because my VIPs could still talk.
Yeah.
And my mods could still talk, but everybody else was emotes only, baby.
Yeah, I think I usually set mine to like mods only when I'm sleeping or something like that. Yeah.
You can only do so much damage with emotes. You can only kill them so many times.
Truly.
Are we ready? Are we good to move on to the next topic?
Hell yeah.
Which topic do we want to move on to?
I think there's only two left.
Well, there's post-stream,
Yep.
collab and guest arrangements.
I think we talked about that earlier.
Yeah, I think that was pretty early on.
Okay, the content research prep and engagement strategies. Those are what I have. I don't have them crossed off, so.
Yeah.
I think the big thing that we are missing is that post-stream stuff, that aftercare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say one word of caution when it comes to anything that you're doing on stream. I'm really bad about this, so do as I say, not as I do. Test your games. Test everything. Launch it. See how it works. Can your mouse move in and out of the game window? What happens when you take your mouse out of the game window? Little things like that can really help to make sure the game actually works the way you want it to. Different games have different settings. Like, do all the settings stuff before you start stream for a new game and things like that. That really helps with knowing what works and what doesn't, so that you have time to come up with another idea if your original idea doesn't work out. So just make sure you're doing that. I feel like the whole thing is just like behind the scenes, test everything.
I mean, it's important though, and even no matter how much you do that, you have to let go of the thought that every stream is going to be perfect. It's so hard, but you have to just let that go. No matter how much you test, there's going to be a stream where something will break. As soon as you press live, it's like OBS knows. It's like it knows and it comes for you and it knows, oh, they're live now. Now's the time. This audio's not working anymore. You know, like it's you just have to be okay with it. You have to learn to roll with it. And I know you guys mentioned testing a lot. You mentioned it in previous podcasts too, but it's because it's that important. It's literally that important. That is why.
Because even if it does go wrong, at least you know you tested it.
Yeah.
So you know this was also unavoidable.
Yeah, truly.
I can't begin to count the number of times where it's just like this was working right before stream. This was literally working, and now it's not. And I don't know why.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shout out to Mix It Up for that happening. I still to this day don't know why I did that.
So do we want to talk about our post-stream rituals and what we do and what's important to do between when you hit end and when you hit live again? All right. Mine's really simple, so I'm just gonna say it. Go through your clips. Go through your clips. Twitch has a new like clip feed feature that it has. It's trying to become TikTok basically. And it is so important for you to go through just anything that you might have flagged for clipping. I usually use the stream marker feature and then go into the VOD and then clip it later because I like to get the perfect like segment. So do that if that's something that you do. But go through your clips because sometimes a clip moment will happen and like 6 people will clip it. And you want to find the best one and you want to keep that one and you want to remove the others. If you clipped something using a clip button or a clip command, it's going to have a generic title. Go in and retitle your clip so that it kind of talks about what happened. This has been such a huge thing for me this year. It's something I started doing after every single stream, and I am so much happier when I go back through clips for compilations to make content for other platforms or for big events or things like that, because I can find things and I'm not scrolling through 6 clips of the same moment that started about 3 seconds apart from each other. It also helps with your discoverability on the feed if you feature clips as well, and if you swap out what clips you have featured and unfeatured. So just utilize that to your advantage, and I like to do it right after stream while it's all fresh in my head. So after I raid, just don't know if I raid you, I'm going through clips while we chat. What other kinds of things do you guys like to do after stream to, whether it's like prepping for next stream or decompressing or things like that?
Usually for me after stream, I have kind of a process that I go through, and the first thing I'm doing, so you're going through clips while you're in people's chat. I'm creating a thumbnail while I'm in people's chat. So I usually, while I'm in my stream, try to find some moment where I can take a screenshot of what I'm doing. and I kind of integrate that into my thumbnail when I'm all done. And the first thing I do is I go into my video producer in Twitch. I go ahead and adjust my title so that it more it just betterly like captures the actual stream, because sometimes when you set up your title before stream, you're just putting stuff in there to get people in or just to give them an idea of what's going on. And if I'm going to post my VOD, which I always post my VOD afterwards, I want it to just encompass what I actually did a little bit more. So I update my title. I'll go through and make my thumbnail on Canva and bring that into Twitch as well, so that when I look at my channel after stream, I see all of those nicely prepared thumbnails. That makes me feel a little bit better about my VODs. It feels a little bit more consistent and kind of gives a little bit more of like a brand touch to my Twitch channel. So I do that. I set up my VOD, and then I usually immediately go to Twitter to post the VOD, say thank you to anyone who rated in, and then just direct people over to whoever I rated out to, just to kind of keep that momentum going for whoever I took the chat over to. And then just resting. You don't need to, like, if you're rating into me, I'm just going to put this out there. You don't need to stay in my chat. You don't need to be there for 30 minutes. You don't need to be there for an hour. If you've been streaming for any amount of time, you should take a break when you end. So come in, say hello, drop your people off, and then I would say rest. As soon as you're done doing whatever your little post-stream moment is, take that time to just shut off. Get off of Twitch, get off of socials. You can review your review your full VOD the next day or something like that, unless you're worried about something during stream. If you thought you had an audio issue or something, take that time. But I would say otherwise, just step back from it, disconnect, and give yourself that moment to kind of reset and kind of come back down a little bit from the adrenaline, and like the moment you have during stream where you're kind of up a little bit more for everybody.
Yeah, no
As
one.
you want to take the lead?
Yeah, I was gonna say the 100%. Definitely like relax. As for me, like, oh god, once I read out, I feel bad because like it's just. Usually I want to like say like, hey, I'm here, raid, whatever, that sort of stuff, chat with the person. But like also I'm like, oh, I gotta close like 50 different programs. Oh my god, because like if I leave them running, oh my god, my computer hates me. It will hate me. It will make my life heck. Because it'd be like if I walk away after I'm done streaming to go cook food and I come back and I didn't close anything, it's just like, you're running at 2 frames per second for no reason. Congratulations. You didn't close any of the programs. So it usually has to result in me restarting the entire computer. But aside from that, no, it's like, yeah, 100% de-stress, relax. Because, like, as weird as it is, you're just sitting behind a computer chatting on screen, playing video games. It doesn't sound like it's that stressful or high energy, but, like, it's very taxing. I don't get it. I don't understand. But it is.
It
like,
costs spoons.
Yeah, it does.
Well, you're
cost
entertaining,
spoons,
right? I mean, you're being someone's entertainment. A lot of us, I think, on this call, like, sure, I watch TV here and there, like watch movies here and there, but like I spend most of my time on Twitch, and so that's how I'm getting my entertainment. And so when I'm on Twitch, I'm providing that entertainment, right? And so are you guys. So it is taxing. You need to come down from it afterwards. Even if you're a chill streamer, like I have streams where it's just me and I'm quiet and I'm just playing like Dreamlight Valley or Minecraft or something, and I'm not even really talking, but it's just that you're still paying attention to chat. You're paying attention to OBS. You're paying attention to, if someone's botting you. Like all of these different things, are happening, even if it's a chill time. And so you're on, even if you don't realize you're on. And when you kind of press that stop stream button, you feel it. You feel that kind of like, okay, like I can chill. Like I'm going to make my thumbnail. I'm going to go through my clips or like whatever you're doing. And it's it does have like an end process to it, right? And so you have to just kind of shut it off afterwards so that you can reset for the next time and you don't feel like you're just like always on, because that's tiring.
I think all of us here also, content creation is not our primary like work. It's a side thing. And so for me, like the importance of going through my clips and like turning everything off is just to not speak to somebody for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I talk to people all day. You know, I go to work and I'm in management, so I am talking to people all day. Because that's what management is. You need to talk to people all day. And they come home and like, I want to talk to my partner. And then I stream and I'm talking to Chad or I'm talking to my dogs because Chad is quiet and I'm talking to my dogs just to make noise. and and then it's just like having that little bit of time where like I'm not speaking. I'm just listening to the person I rated out to. I'm going through my clips and then I go to bed.
I'll say
I
one
feel
other.
like.
Go ahead.
Oh no, go on. Sorry.
I was just gonna to say the one other thing that I typically do when I end stream, like I don't go through my clips or make thumbnails or anything. I typically try to do my best to interact with the person I rated into, because like I feel like that is such a monumental moment to like if you want to network, like that's the prime time to do it. Because like they're respectful, they like, oh, you're another streamer. Oh, well, welcome. Thank you for your community coming in, and it's like having that moment to hey, like chat with them, like, oh, yeah, what kind of games do you play, like and it's that like
Yeah.
it is peak networking in my opinion. There are other ways to network. Don't get me wrong, but like that is like the best way that I have personally found to network with someone.
It's important to remember to reciprocate that too. When others come into your chat and they rate in, give them their moment, right? Like even if they're bringing one person, even if they're coming in on their own, still give them their moment. Like it's a pleasure that they're choosing you, right, to come and bring their community to. So give them the shout out, take a minute to say hello, welcome in their people, introduce yourself. That's important too. Even, sometimes I'm so frazzled, I introduce myself 4 times. They know my name at that point. But like, it's still me taking the moment to give them that attention. And even if you're in a crazy moment in your game or something's happening, they'll still appreciate the hello. So definitely pay attention to that when people come into you.
I also just had another thought. If anything really special happened on your stream, maybe there was an outpour of support for you, or you had like a lot of active chatters or a lot of fun, don't be afraid to also after stream hop in your Discord and be like, thanks everybody, that was like a ton of fun, like I really enjoyed that, or hey, how did we like the game today, and like getting their feedback and things like that. Those little post-stream engagements with your community can be really awesome because one, the people that came feel like you saw them, you noticed them, you appreciated them. But then maybe if somebody wasn't there, they're like, oh shoot, I missed a really good stream. Maybe they go check out your VOD. Maybe they come next time. Little things like that. And it goes a long way to like just fostering that community feeling. So that's another thing that you'll see me do sometimes. Sometimes I abuse my ping powers in Discord and I'm like, at everyone, what an amazing stream. I love you all so much. Like, get over it.
I feel like what's it called? Like we've gone through like these 3 rituals. I'm often just heading to bed. Like what's it called? I think less of that now, especially as I've lessened my hours at work. But there's a moment where I was just like, okay, I'm gonna have a little bit of talk with you. I'm gonna leave my what is it? Exclamation mark lurk. Got that going. Have everybody that's currently live streams up so I can lurk and rack up those points. And it's off to bed because I have a job that's very strenuous on my eyes. Sometimes it actually prevents me from even streaming if I have work the same day of kind of thing, because I'm staring at a computer screen for 7.5 hours or 8 hours basically straight, and it's so I think everybody's like set of circumstances are different. Not everybody's going to be able to do those post-stream things immediately after stream. We say post-stream, but it could also just be like like we said earlier, in between the stream that you just ended and the one that's right like next, like upcoming stream. And that's what I try to take advantage of. Often despite having worked throughout the week, I actually just kind of take that weekend to reset my eyes a little bit, but also when they're good and going, and also recharging social batteries and just kind of like everything batteries, that okay, I'm in the right mindset to start working on those things. Some people have that streamer high immediately. I sometimes get that where it's like, all right, let's keep it going. Let's, you know, whether you are getting those shorts pre-prepped and stuff like that, or those thumbnails. I've actually been there myself. I think probably more like of last year kind of thing, but with this year, my circumstances are a lot different. But you can shapeshift, you know. So don't be afraid to literally just call it a night, and then we go again tomorrow. You know.
Yeah, and there's time to find like ways to find time to do these things, like outside of right after stream. I know when I first started doing thumbnails for VODs, I was actually making them pre-stream because it forced me to stay within what I made. So because I'm bad about being like, I'm bored of this game, and then just like switching to something else halfway through stream. And so creating my thumbnails before stream is almost like a way of brainstorming and kind of putting yourself in that box to say, okay, not only am I going to play this game tonight, but I'm going to do this thing in the game tonight. Because I get in there with my partner and I'm like, so what you want to do? Where are we going? What are we doing? And so if I'm like, okay, I'm playing Fallout 76 tonight and I'm specifically doing quests and I make my thumbnail, then I'm not going to change it, because if I have an early morning, I don't have time to change it, right? Like I need to get in there and play what I said I was going to play so that I can just have my thumbnail, put it up, and like Maffi said, like shut off, go to bed, and I'm waking up at 5:30, like ready to go for work. So you can find time to do these things during breaks even, or before streams, so that you don't have to worry about it. And if you want to, you know, do things like checking your clips, you can do that the next day, you know, after work before you stream, so that stuff is set up. You're not having to worry about it directly after all the time. And then if you do want to do it after, if that's part of your routine, then that's cool too. You know, I think you're right, Muffy. Everybody has a different circumstance for sure. So it's just whatever works for you.
And I'll also say, don't feel like if something technically goes wrong that you have to fix it right away either.
Yeah.
Especially if you're getting off stream, you know, super late at night, or you have other obligations you have to take care of, like, don't feel bad if you have to wait till the next day to troubleshoot. Maybe that's all it takes, is waiting to the next day and it fixes itself. You never know.
You might need to too. If you've had a really, like, I had a really stressful stream last week. Audio was all jacked up, and after stream, I just did not have the energy. I just didn't post the VOD. I left it unpublished. I, you know, made some chit chat in my raid where I went into, and I just was like, I have to walk away. I have to close everything and walk away. I'll look at it tomorrow. I'll listen to the VOD tomorrow. I'll figure out my whole life in OBS again tomorrow. Like, it's okay to just walk away from it and not do this. If you get into a routine and one night it doesn't work out, it's okay. You'll be fine. You can just revisit it the next day with a clear mind.
And this isn't even exclusive to streams. We'll give you some behind the scenes of this one. I mean, we were supposed to be recording this yesterday.
Yeah,
but, you know, Bag's setup said absolutely not. And
it happens. Yeah, there's nothing you can do about it. You can't. You gotta just let it ride as best you can. It's so hard, but you have to.
We good to
get quiet.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I'm looking at the list of things and like, I feel like we were so efficient on this one.
I mean, there are other things.
Well.
We have a whole section of miscellaneous if we have other things we kind of want to tack on that are not like topic specific. I always leave that over like that little bit for those that are just kind of like, well, this kind of doesn't fit in any particular category, but we can definitely, you know, talk about it like it's a fits.
I'm gonna do a classic poll the room. What is one thing that you do off stream that, like, let's say you had to get rid of most other than the essentials, right? Like testing things. Let's say you had to stop doing all other things off stream, but you could choose one off stream activity that you could keep doing that would continue to benefit your streams. What would be the thing you keep doing? So, like, for example, mine would be, I would keep making art and promos for things, because even if everything else went out the window besides what was needed to just go live, the basics there, I think that those promotional art pieces are so vital to communicating to your audience and things like that. And they're also so much fun, and I like making them. That would be my thing that I would keep. So that's like one of the most important things I would say for off-stream content creation activities.
If I had to pick one thing, I think it would be keeping my virtual space here up to date and something that I like and I'm comfortable with, because this is kind of where people are always going to see me. And so I've gone through a lot of iterations of what my space looked like, and this one finally felt good to me when I landed on it. And I think it translates, right? Like if I'm in a space that I like and I'm putting random, like I have little gifts that I'll put randomly in the room, like the BTS boys like dancing in the background 17 different places at different sizes or whatever. Like
I love them.
Just keeping my room fun. Thank you. Keeping my room fun and like adding, lights for this holiday, or adding my creeper back there is because I started playing Minecraft again recently, and having Snick on my couch and all of that. Just like those little pieces that make my room feel more natural and like an actual space that I'm in, I think is something that it's a part of streaming that I really enjoy. When I first started streaming, I used The Sims to make the room that I used, and I think that was a really fun piece for me then. And maybe that's just me liking building games and decorating and being a little bit of a nerd like that, but I think it just gives the stream a nice feel when it feels cohesive and it feels natural, feels like a space that you should be in. And I would feel a little bare without my room, I think. So that's something I would keep, is just finding cute things to put in here and making it a Murph space.
For me, it hands down has to be adding interesting or working on just like the redeem sections of like what would be my stream, like, because like that's where all my engagement comes in. Like people come in here into my into my streams, and it's just like, what are we gonna redeem today? Because there's always something getting redeemed every 5 minutes. So just like having those interactive elements, like it takes time to develop something unique and different, especially like when working with Polypop, where it's literally your imagination is the limit. Like, you want a frying pan being thrown at you, that's possible in Polypop. You want A-Train to run you over with the boys logo and the music playing, like that's also possible. But like, for me, it hands down just like working on and adding those elements of the redeems. For me, that's the offline streaming thing that I would have to keep.
Damn, I've got a different genre of answer, and I use it actually. It's even translated into prepping for work as well. I kind of just, my thing would be keeping the way I hype myself up, or just kind of get myself in the mood for something. I often have this like kind of ritual of very hyped music, or it's music of the game that I'm currently playing, or it's, reviewing what's happened in the past stream. Just kind of, I think some mix of video game music and like just kind of like pumping it through my veins, while also like the video game that I'm playing for set day. It really puts me in a really good mood, and I've translated that as well into the work, going to work commute as well, where I'll just like pump myself up, and I know that like with work especially, I really need it just to almost tolerate the day. I'm not tolerating stream luckily enough, but just I think that extra lift kind of helps you get through a stream that might have those challenges, might have those little things that might leave you irritable normally if you're kind of in a more neutral mood and you're like, well, today's just not my day. And then like I think sometimes I with that hype that I generate over time, like or just before that stream, I'm like, I'm invincible. Yeah, that thing might have shit the bed, but you know what? We move on. We're feeling great. We're feeling good. So I guess that like self kind of emotional regulation.
I love that. I actually love that, Mafi. So, based on all of our answers, if you were thinking about what are the most important things to think about for your stream, audience engagement, ways for your audience to be engaged, your branding and your comfort in your stream, marketing yourself, and taking care of your mental space and making sure you're ready to go for any stream you do. I think we have hit the 4 most important bullet points between the 4 of us, which is really awesome. And we all chose a slightly different thing, which is also really cool.
I think that just goes to show, like, it's your stream. Like, that's something I think I have to tell myself a lot, because it's easy to want to do all the things chat wants you to do, or want to do all the things that are trending, or want to do all the things that, like, your favorite streamer is doing. But it's your stream, right? Like, your space should be comfortable. The game you're playing should be comfortable. The way you are interacting with your collaborators or your chat, it should be comfortable for you. It's gonna maybe feel stressful when it's new. It might still feel stressful every time you go live, because it's, you get some go live butterflies a little bit. I feel like even I still do after, like, I'm with you, Mafia. I'm coming up on 3 years at the end of the year. Like, I'm getting close, and I still kind of get butterflies when I go live.
Oh, especially if you take a little, like,
yeah. Oh my God.
days.
I think it's when you take a hiatus, it's like an actual break or something. It's hard. It's even harder. You come back and you're like, what am I doing? I'm supposed to know what I'm doing now, and I don't know what I'm doing
today. Oh my God. Literally
almost harder. It's almost harder than when you first start, right? Because you get into these routines like we've talked about today, and you get into doing things a certain way that you're comfortable with. And then if you step back for a moment, you're like, what does this button do again? How do I do this? How do I fix this? So I think it's all about it being your space, and you're creating that space for people. And if you're comfortable and you're having a good time, it doesn't matter what you're doing behind the scenes. The other people are going to have a good time, and they're going to come back, and they're going to hang out. And that's all you really can ask for. There's a lot of people on Twitch to watch, and there's a lot of people watching on Twitch, or wherever you're streaming, YouTube, wherever, and you're just creating a space for people at the end of the day. That's all you're doing.
Yeah.
Any other stuff in the miscellaneous? I always get berated for my pronunciation of it. Miscellaneous.
I don't have anything. I don't think so.
Just have a good time. Have a good time. Have fun.
Yeah.
As?
I mean, everything we pretty much said. I mean that's pretty much it in a nutshell. As far as any additional thing, I'm trying to think, but for me today's been kind of a long day, so the brain's just going.
Paz is ready to go to the not talking part of his day that we discussed earlier.
I'm running on fumes, I'll be honest, but like I keep trucking on. Like, also, just a side note: do not do what I do. You'll burn yourself out real quick. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Pace yourself. Pace yourself.
Don't make fun of Baguette. That's what Paz does.
Always make fun of Baguette. In fact, I literally did this.
I saw your ping.
Oh, okay. As long as you did.
Yep. Saw your ping.
Yeah. Like 10-ish minutes ago, something like that. Yeah.
I saw that.
Look, all I'm gonna say is the French lady
I
missed the French stream. You missed the French stream. The French one of all. Just saying.
Post the VOD. I'll roast you. Well, I'll do a reaction. My next stream is just gonna be a reaction to Paz's French stream.
Yeah. You're gonna change your whole brand to a React channel?
Just for a day. I'm allowed. I'm a variety streamer. I can do what I want.
I gotta end this before diss tracks start coming out. Oh boy, I was not ready for that in this community. Wow. Murph, it's been a pleasure meeting you for the first time. Totally.
Yeah, never have met any of you before. Great job, guys.
And if you enjoyed today's podcast, I was going to say stream. Yeah, stream. If you're watching this on stream. Cheeky little. Yeah, but Thank you so much for joining us on this one. No Korean boys, but we did talk about BTS in a different form. Where can people find you, Murph, to get a different form of BTS and some more?
You can find me pretty much anywhere, just as murpheyyplayys, as you see here underneath me. The only exception is Instagram. It's murphy_plays. Yeah, I stream on Twitch pretty much always on the weekend from Friday to Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern, and then with some weekdays sprinkled throughout there. If you like video game content, you'll catch that most of the time. And then on Sundays, we do Shrimping Sundays, which are usually BTS, but they can be any K-pop, but they're usually BTS, and they're probably always BTS. So that's
Hell
that.
yeah.
Thank you.
And then our pink Vaporeon on the top right. Where can
I'm
we
an
find you?
Espion.
Yeah.
I thought it was Pikachu.
Oh boy.
Anyway, hi, I'm Baguette_Baby. I'm Baguette_Baby everywhere except for Twitter, where I am Baguette_Baby because even though it tells me the username is taken, I can't find the account that has the username. So whatever, Elon Musk, this is a shout out to you. Give me my username. Whoever's using it isn't really using it. This is a call out post. All right. I stream on Twitch a couple times a week. I have a Discord server, super active, super good times. It's linked all on my Twitch. You can find all my socials through my Twitch. And yeah, I'm an Espion.
You could have fooled me,
At the
meow.
moment, I swear to God.
And I'm hungry at the moment, but you know what? You know what you buy when you're hungry? You get some KFC, you get Pringles. And Mr. Pringles man under me, where can we find you other than DoorDash?
Oh my God, you did
Eats?
not just call him the freaking Pringles.
Yeah.
It's a mustache.
Yeah.
It's so
yeah,
good.
Yeah.
It's also so accurate.
Yeah.
Oofy doofy.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're just.
He said,
Come
yeah, I'm out.
I can fix something here. Don't make me.
No, you can.
I prefer
you can,
Pazuah
you
one
can-
anyway.
You can find me in the YouTube's description. I've said it before. I probably should change my motto, but like I'm not too keen on advertising myself. I'll keep it short. You can find me in the YouTubes if you really want to find me. But more importantly than me, what about you, Mafidella?
You can find me at work. No, I'm kidding.
All right, I'm
Hello.
an
Hello,
address.
darkness, my old friend.
Although everyone calls me Muffy, you can call me by my full username on every platform. I say every platform. Skype, does Skype do streaming? You can find me on Twitch, the Twitters, the Xers, I mean, and the YouTubes.
What about the Instagram?
The Instagram, it's might have procrastinated on that idea, I'm not gonna lie. But what's it called? The TikTok's still up there. But yeah, the main three at the moment are the Twitch, the Twitters, and the YouTube. So you can find me there. Yeah. It's been a pleasure. It's been a really fun time. And
Thanks
at
for having
10:22
me.
PM, yeah. What a great way to end the night.
Kick off our work weeks.
Oh God.
Oh, Lord.
I'm sorry. I
You
just
ruined
ruined
it.
it.
Yeah.
God.
Bye everyone.
Have a good day or night, whatever the case may be. Bye.
Bye.